Coming up this week, we've got Corey Jensen joining the show, talking about the 2025 final series.
For me to be able to be a part of a premiership that, for somebody who deserves it so much from what he's been through, was something pretty special.
And then, last of all, we got Daniel Mortimer coming on the show. He's going to talk us through the 2009 famous or infamous, depending on who you support, final series. So how Parra pulled themselves out of that hole.
Then after the game, we came back into the sheds. And Jensen made us sit there and listen for a minute or two to the crowd singing "Oh, Win the Saints," and then sort of interrupted that and said, "All right, next week we're coming back and we'll effing shut that up."
But yeah, let's get into the show. Okay, guys, welcome back. Another week, another win for New South Wales. What a game last night from the Blues. Nathan Cleary dominated Origin. That's obviously he's not going to have convinced everyone yet, but yeah, he killed it, and yeah, they killed it. Ponga got sent off, obviously, but New South Wales always coming back. Yeah, hope everyone had a great week and pretty keen for this episode. I think I've decided on a name for the show. It's not official, but I think I'm going to call it the RW show. Like, obviously, Remember When, but Remember When is the podcast. So, the RW show. Lock it in for now, pencil it in, and yeah, we'll see how we go. First up on the show today, we got Corey Jensen joining from the Broncos. Did the interview a while back, so just bringing the clip on and giving you guys a little snippet into what that sort of yarn was about. We talked about the 2025 final series. Obviously, everyone knows that infamous or famous, like I said before, depending on who you support, Canberra game, Canberra versus Broncos, that went all the way down to the wire with the Ben Hunt field goal. Let's get into it. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. Here's Corey Jensen. It's crazy, sort of the redemption story of not just from the 23, but from Ben Hunt from 2015, Adam Reynolds from 2021. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, obviously, Ben Hunt kicked the field goal, and then Adam Reynolds kicks that goal to send you guys boys to the grand final. Was there any talk around that, or was it just this is just the job we need to do?
It was more than just a job. Like, obviously, we all knew. And I know, like, Hunty probably downplays it. No one ever, like, obviously blames him for what happened in 2015. But I knew that it was a chip on his shoulder. He's had to have that for 10 years now. So for him to be able to get the premiership that he finally deserves off the back of what happened 10 years ago now was something pretty special and something I'm so thankful to be a part of, because, like, I see how much of an ultra professional he is with how he looks after himself, with how he gets up, how competitive he is. So for him to be able to, or for me to be able to be a part of a premiership that, for somebody who deserves it so much from what he's been through, was something pretty special. And like you said, Reno, I remember there's someone asked him about when he take that conversion. I think Walshy must have said, "Oh, do you want me to take it?" And he was so adamant that he wanted to take that sideline conversion off the back of that. And then for him to slot it the way he did, it just goes to show for both Reno and Hunty the type of player and people they are. They're ultimate competitors, and they want to prove people wrong, and they both got their chance and ultimately got the rewards at the end of it.
Yeah, what was it like when Jordan Ricky called that ball? The siren finally goes after it probably felt like 5 hours, that last 10 minutes. What's the feeling?
Oh, it's hard. People ask me, and it's still hard to fathom kind of how you actually feel. Like, you got to be a part of it and be out there to truly know the sense of, and it was more, a lot of it was relief. A lot of it was obviously very happy, over the moon, like excited about what happened. But you just think about the hard work that you put in through the whole year, the ups and downs of the season, the games that sort of we've been through to get you to that position, and what we've had to go through as a group, and also certain individuals there too. It obviously it was more so a relief that just everything just paid off. How hard we've worked, how close we came as a group. It was like, oh yes, this is all worth it at the end. And it's a feeling you won't ever forget, and it's a feeling that you want to, and I can see why Penrith, when people say, oh, how hard is it to get up year on year to win the premiership? Like, you want that feeling all the time. So when you get in those games and when you get to that finals back end of the year, like, there's no better feeling than winning it now that you've actually experienced it. So I can see why that was so good for so long.
Yeah. Well, I would touch on that game. Obviously, Reece Walsh. Mate, is he human? Or
It's kind of funny when people say that, because everyone was like, oh, you're going to keep drinking toilet water or whatever it was. And I said, look, honestly, if Reece keeps playing the way he does, I don't care what he drinks or how he drinks it after that. Like, he was, from that Canberra game when, like I said before, about how he had a pact of going out there and just playing footy and whatever, if it comes off, it comes off. And obviously he's such a confident player and he can see things on footy fields that a lot of people can't see. And I remember that try he scored, one-off hit up against Melbourne, to basically get us going in that grand final.
Mate, that was insane.
Exactly, and it's a thing that no other player could probably see what was going on at the time, like Reece can, and he's been doing that all year. And that's the thing, like him coming out the back of a Renault or an Ezra kind of thing, and he looks up and he can see stuff or be able to take people apart better than any player I've seen him do. And the scary thing about Walshy is that he's still so young and he wants to improve so much. So I'm just so thankful he's on my side, to be honest.
It's funny that I spoke to Jimmy Maloney yesterday on the pod, and I remember watching him growing up, and he'd come down and throw an intercept on one end of the field. The team would run and score, but the next play, it's like he had memory loss or something, and he'd throw the exact same pass and it'd come off and they'd score. I feel like Reece Walsh is sort of similar. He's just backs himself in anything he does.
Exactly, 100%. And that's the thing. Like we've come to learn with Walshy, and he could score you or set you up 3 tries, but he may also come up with 3 errors. And that's just what you got to give and take. And you got to give him credit that he backs his confidence and backs his ability to come up with the big plays. And hence why he's such a great player, because he has that ability to be like, okay, I will try something. It may not come off, but I'm going to keep at it. And ultimately, like most of the time, it comes off more than it doesn't. And it's probably taken a little while for us as a group, because when you get into the trenches and you get into the back and forth grind, especially playing in the middle, and he might come up with a play that he's not happy with or might make an error or something like that. And it can be hard at times as middles but then we've sort of grown now to be like, okay, well, it is what it is with Reece. Like he's going to do that, but he also will score you or set you up 3 tries. So you got to take the good with the bad and those things. And Walshy's definitely learnt when to take the right option and when to hold back and just run and just back yourself. Because I think one of his biggest strengths too is his running game. Like he's such a fast, elusive player who can move across the field really well.
He's so strong as well.
Exactly.
I feel like
exactly strong through the hips, strong through the legs. So. And I think he started to finally realize that he doesn't have to do the miracle ball, like the pass or the big play to actually make something happen. Him running is just a bigger threat as it is to him kicking or passing a ball as well. And I don't know, opposition people would probably hate when he runs the ball. So we're just trying to drive into him to be able to runner first and foremost. And then if you see something, just back yourself.
Okay, shout out Corey. Hopefully he's back on the field soon. He's an absolute weapon. And he's so underrated, man. He's one of my favorite players to watch. He's just so good. Just gives you what you need week in, week out. Mr. Consistent, so good. Okay, just to break us up, obviously a crazy comeback in Origin last night. Unreal. I'm sure everyone's already heard enough about that. So I just wanted to quickly go through some of my greatest ever comebacks in sport. First up, you can't forget Patriots versus Falcons. Patriots are obviously down 28-3, came back and won 34-28 in overtime. Obviously Tom Brady, unreal GOAT of the game. But yeah, if you haven't seen the highlights of that or watched the full game, go check it out. Unreal. Unreal from Tom Brady. Just crazy. Next up, 2023 Grand Final. Obviously a Nathan Cleary masterclass just like last night. But yeah, who could forget? I think they were down, I want to say 20-8, 22-8, something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong. Fact check me. But unreal. I was actually there. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, that's got to be up there with one of my favorites. Next up, the Tiger Woods comeback, 2019 Masters. Obviously, it wasn't like a come from behind type of thing. It was just that he had been through so much scrutiny, so much stuff in the media. Obviously, he made a few mistakes, all that stuff. And come back to win the Masters in the classic red shirt. Absolutely unreal. And last, probably honestly my favorite comeback of all time. Cavs coming back 3-1 down to the Warriors. LeBron, GOAT, another GOAT. See, all these comebacks have something to do with some sort of GOAT in their sport. Tiger Woods, LeBron, Nathan Cleary, GOAT. Maybe soon to be. Maybe already is. Who knows? And Tom Brady, obviously. But yeah, Cavs 3-1 down. I love that clip of when they talked to LeBron in the press conference and just, what did Clay say?
What did you say Clay said?
Clay said, I guess he just got his feelings hurt.
But anyway, let's get into the good stuff. Let's get into the Daniel Mortimer episode. Obviously, I was a Para fan my whole life and still am a Para fan. So it was so cool to hear about that famous 2009 series where they went on a run versus Dragons back-to-back. Hear about Daniel Anderson as coach, the spray you got, all that sort of stuff. All the good stories. If you're a Para fan, if you're a footy fan, if you just like cool stories. But yeah, it was so awesome to hear from Daniel, Huge fan, absolute legend, absolute pleasure. Let's get into the chat. Let's get into the story. Yeah, let's go.
Famous, going from pretty much 14th or 15th to like so close to a premiership. What like switched gears within the team to get you on that run?
Yeah, there was a bit of, I think Brett Finch had left at the start of the year. There was a few player changes, but there was a moment halfway through the year where Daniel Anderson sort of had a meeting with the team, and particularly the leadership team, which I wasn't part of, but I heard about this afterwards, that he'd sort of had this structure that he wanted to play to. It wasn't working with the team we had. So we sort of threw it out halfway through the year, and they revamped a new sort of free-flowing structure that would bring in your Fletty Mateos and your Chris Ninus and those sort of Hayne, who would play a bit more freestyle. And it just suited us to a T. And all of a sudden, we put together a win or two, and then, a lot of offloads, a lot of free-flowing play, not a whole lot of rigid structure.
Yeah.
And it just suited us to a T. And the more we played like that, the more everyone just became alert of their surroundings, and everyone was sniffing for offloads, and you guarantee you'd throw a ball blindfolded and someone would be there. So, it caught fire. And then, we were putting away teams easily, like above us on the ladder. We were really, we were on fire, and very exciting style to play. It suited me to a T as well, being a more instinctive and an off the cuff player, support player. It just played into our hands, and we caught this confidence, and from then on it was just an absolute steamroll towards the finals.
Yeah, what was it like? You get to the finals. You played the Dragons back-to-back weeks in round 26.
Correct.
And the first semi, and the first one you lost. What was the difference between those games?
Yeah, we get asked this a lot, and it's such a fun question to answer, because we were missing. Basically, we'd made it into 8th the week before. So no matter what happened in this game, we were going to play Dragons the following week as well. We're also missing Nathan Hindmarsh and Eric Growth that week. They were both injured. So, and our coaching staff had a plan to beat the Dragons, but they weren't going to use it the first week because there was no point. So they sort of saved up their sleeve, and we went out with this really nonchalant, there wasn't much guidance in terms of how we're going to beat this side. So even as in the team, we sort of weren't sure. It was a bit of an odd week.
Yeah.
So we went out. We still tried our best, but we got beat 37-0. They were an outstanding team, and a lot of people had thought the bubble had burst. And then after the game, we came back into the sheds, and Jensen made us sit there and listen for a minute or two to the crowd singing "Oh, When the Saints," and then sort of interrupted that and said, "All right, next week we're coming back and we'll effing shut that up. Bus leaves Monday. Don't be late." And we all sort of looked at each other quite confused. And anyway, we all got on the bus Monday, went and had, I think it was a game of golf, and stayed in a hotel and a couple of beers and Maccas. And then on Tuesday, the coaching staff came in and said, we got the plan to beat this team. This is how we're going to do it. And the plan wasn't crazy different, but it was maybe just that effect of belief. And all of a sudden, immediately, we thought, yeah, okay, let's get on board this. It's do or die now. And the next week, we came out in front of those same crowd, and we kept them quiet. And there is that trial where Hainsey sort of shushes the crowd, and that came from that week before.
Yeah.
Coming back to want to silence that crowd. It was a pretty special game to be part of, and from losing 37-0 to winning, I think 25-12, it's a big swing in a week.
Yeah. What's the feeling like after you're walking off the field after beating them in that second game?
Yeah, that was one of the most enjoyable times of my career. Just knowing. It's one of those times where we just blocked the outside noise out completely, and it's hard to do in a team. But that week we were just so interfocused in that change room, of the people in the change room that can make that difference. And we really believed that we could turn that around, and we did. And we just played the style that we wanted to play. We were just super enthusiastic. The Dragons were the favourite the entire year. They were an incredible team, and I think only the second team in history to have been 8th and beat the minor premier. So that was a cool little accomplishment, and there was still a way to go, but it was a great start for our finals run.
Okay, another RW show done. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, whether you're on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, whichever. But yeah, I really enjoy doing these episodes, so hope you guys enjoy them too. We've got another full interview coming out on Monday with Liz McGregor from the NRLW Bulldogs. So tune into that if you're on. If not, come back to the Thursday show. If you got any suggestions, any feedback, let me know. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great week, great weekend. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.